So today we're talking with Melanie Montague of eXp Realty, and we're going to be doing a friendly eXp versus real broker debate where we're going to go through all the different important aspects of each company, and both of us will take turns going back and forth and kind of explaining these different aspects. And by all means, if at the end of this debate you feel like eXp is a better fit for you, feel free to reach out to Melanie Montague. If you feel like Real Broker is a better fit for you, feel free to reach out to me. Either of us will be happy to help you and happy to talk to you more about these companies. Melanie, how are you today?
I'm fantastic, Malcolm. Thank you. I'm so excited about this because you and I were at a previous brokerage together, and we always have gotten along, and we still talk with each other about our businesses, although we're at different places. And I think it's fun to learn about other places and see what they have to offer. So I'm excited to be able to share with you, and thanks for asking me to come on with you.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really excited. Sounds like you're having great success at eXp Realty. Yeah, so this should be fun. So I'll let you go first. Let's talk about the cost and fees and caps and splits for eXp.
Okay. So the cost of fees. So it's an 80-20 split for every single person on that comes to EXP. So 80-20 until you reach your cap. A cap for an individual agent or a team leader is $16,000. And so once you hit that 16,000, then you go to 100%. Of course, there are still fees that you pay to the brokerage, just like anyone else, to process and so forth. So let's go back and say you join EXP. You also have a $149 startup fee. That's a one-time fee. And then your fees monthly are $85. And then you pay a $25 monthly broker review fee. And then you pay a $40 risk management, which is also known as E&O insurance, until you reach a $500 cap annually. So you only pay that $40 until you reach that cap. And then there are a couple other different programs with EXP for capping. When you come on as a team, if your team leaders is $16,000, but your agents are at under you are at $8,000. So that's their cap, is half of what the team leaders is. And then if you come on and you have a mega icon team, the team leader is $16,000 and the team members are $4,000. And with that, you have to meet certain criteria to be that sort of team. So basically, the team has to bring in another $40,000 cap. So it's a total of $56,000 cap for that. And you have to have a minimum number of transactions and agents on your team that are capping in order to qualify for that. So as a qualifying team, you can't just show up and say, hey, I want to do this and get a $4,000 cap. It wouldn't be advantageous for you anyway, because you were required, regardless of what you actually end up doing, to that $56,000, right? So that's for a big producing team. So it's a great option for that. But, most, let's just say like you and I type of people, small teams, agents types of the $16,000 cap and a half cap for the agents.
Okay, great. This is why I like doing this conversation. I've never heard of a mega icon agent team before, so that's good. All right, yeah. So Real has a $12,000 year cap. We have an 85-15 split with the agents. Now, while you're paying the cap, there is no transaction fee. After you fully cap, then there is a 285 post cap transaction fee. That goes until you hit our elite agent, and at elite agent that drops down to $100 per transaction after that. Now, when you join Real for the first time, there is a one-time $249 sign-up fee. We also have a $30 what we call a BEOP fee. It's essentially E&O insurance fee across the board on every transaction. $30 fee for E&O insurance. And then Real doesn't have any monthly fees, but we do have a annual fee of $750 a year. And this gets taken out of your first three transactions of the year, 250, 250, 250. And I like this because you only pay this when you actually have money coming in to your company and to your business. And let me ask you, with your transaction fee, does that get dropped after you hit Icon Agent?
What changes when you hit the icon status is your transaction fee. It does drop down to a smaller per transaction fee. And then the other thing is you are gifted 3 of your own sales per year. So if you were like an investor or an agent that was selling their own property, you can get 3 without paying the fees. They're reduced. I mean, there's always a review fee, a broker review fee for everything because they want to make sure they're compliant.
And
Yeah.
yep, same thing that we get 3 free transactions a year for any personal deals. And you still have to pay the transaction fee on those since there still is some back end reviewing and everything of it. Okay. And
Right.
so, fees and costs is definitely one thing to consider. Both companies are publicly traded. This is a great segue. And both companies give free stock to their agents. Can you kind of explain the ways that eXp gives free stocks to their agents?
Absolutely. So the stock program is very interesting. I I will say this at first with the stock program, I was like, right. It wasn't a big thing for me. It now is much bigger than I ever thought it would be because I looked at it as a 401k program.
Right.
I'm sure that's probably how you looked at it, right? It's just, you get it. So, okay. So this is how it works. So with the program, you can either opt in or not. It's not a mandatory thing. You can take 5% of every commission out and they will give you 10 stocks at a 10% discount. So and once they buy them for you. Okay. And it goes into your arsenal. We're with Stanley Morgan shareholders. So you can see everything all the time. Now here's what's interesting with the stocks. So you earn stocks also and they give them to you. I would say you earn them in a different way. So when you close your first transaction of each year, they'll give you $200 worth of stocks. When you reach your full cap, they'll give you $400 worth of stocks. And when you sponsor an agent that comes onto eXp and when they do their first transaction, they will give you
Mm,
another $400 worth of stocks. So there's different ways for them to gift you stocks for being a part of the company. Now, currently, you also can earn back that $16,000 worth of capping money that you're paying to eXp for your cap in the stock program. So when you become an icon agent, then you have opportunities to earn that 16,000. They'll give you $8,000 right off the bat. Then you have different ways. So you can go to events, certain events that qualify for stock reimbursement or getting that back. You can get like 4,000 for doing that. So like eXpCon or annual convention or a shareholders event. Then you also can do certain things like you can speak on a panel at eXp in our eXp world for other agents. You can teach a class or several classes. You can be a part and join a masterminds that's through the eXp world. The other thing is these really cool things. This is what I like to do. They're smaller points. You have to get enough points to get to it. And it's like 20 points and say each one is like 3 points. But it's a lot of fun as you join these Google Meets where you get online with people all over the country and all over the world. And there's a topic, there's a moderator. And depending on if you're a team or if you're an individual agent, you can do different things with it. And what they do is the topic is free to whoever is there. So the moderator can pick a topic and you just kind of mastermind around it for 30 minutes, 45 minutes. And so it puts you in these really cool little meetups. And by doing that, you earn your stock back from your 16,000 as well. So it's a lot of fun. It's like giving back to people within eXp on all these different levels to get your money back from your
right.
$16,000 cap.
Yeah, I love that. And part of that is like if you attend an in-person event, then you get free stock in exchange for that. Is that right? Okay.
Yes. Qualifying events. Yes. Because there are a lot of events that are put on through eXp, but not through international, right? So there's different groups that'll put on big events and those don't necessarily qualify. So we're talking about the international eXp, the mothership, events that they put on. We'll also say that when you buy your own stock, you're automatically vested. And the stocks that they give you, the ones that we talked about were the 200, the 400, and all of those are a 3-year vesting period. After the 3 years, they're yours and then yours to keep. And they are it's willable over to your family.
Yep. So we got the same thing with a 3-year vesting period on any of the free stock that you're given. And so we have 4 different ways of earning free stock in the company. We also have a stock purchase program where before you cap, you can opt in, and 5% of your commission will go towards buying stock of Real Broker directly out of your commission. And on that, you'll get 15% bonus free stock on top of that purchase After you cap, 10% of your commission can go towards buying stock, and you get a 30% bonus for free on top of that purchase. The second way is by capping. Currently, when you cap, you'll get 150 shares of stock in the company. The third way is by agent attraction. So when you attract somebody names you as a sponsor, they come into the company. When they close their first transaction, currently you get 75 shares of stock in the company. And so all those shares that I just mentioned, they all are 3-year vesting period, and those numbers will change over time. Real said, as the value of the stock goes up, as the agent count goes up to keep it sustainable, those numbers will change. And so it is kind of geared towards incentivizing earlier adoptions into Real, right? Real is currently about 11,000 agents. And so once we hit 100,000 agents, some of these numbers probably will change. Now we have, instead of the Icon Agent, we have the Elite Agent Award. And with the Elite Agent, you can get up to $24,000 completely free stock in the company. To hit Elite Agent, the criteria are that you have to cap at Real. And with $12,000 year cap, it's usually about 5 or 6 transactions for most people. Then you need to pay $6,000 in post-cap transaction fees. The transaction fee is $285 per transaction. So that works out to about another 21 transactions after you cap, and then you'll hit Elite Agent. If you're a team leader, when your team members are paying their transaction fee, whatever percentage of their commission you're taking as a team leader, that same percentage of their transaction fee goes towards your $6,000 in post-cap transaction fee. So if you're a team leader, it's just easier to hit Elite Agent. So if you hit these numbers, you'll hit their production award, which is $16,000 in free stock. And then you're also eligible for their cultural award, which sounds very similar to eXp's requirements, where essentially if you are giving back, you're teaching classes, you're hosting masterminds, we have masterminds as well, then you're eligible for their cultural award, which is $8,000 in free stock. So combined, that's $24,000 in free stock for their Elite Agent Award.
So I should say to and share that with the Icon Award as well, we also have where once you hit your cap of 16,000, there is a plus transaction cap fee of 5,000. So you have to hit that to become Icon. So
Okay,
16 plus 5,000, right? So it's very similar,
yeah.
And it's equal depending on really like where you live is going to equal how many transactions that is or what your price point is. But for the most part, it's about the same as what you have, just a little bit different.
Yeah, it sounds like it. All right, great. So let's move on to training and education at the two companies. How is that done at eXp? And I know at eXp, there's a big focus on your upline and receiving training from your upline as well. Could you talk a little bit about training at the company?
Sure. So you have eXp World. So you'll hear me reference that multiple times. It is the world that you go into, a virtual world. And so in our virtual world, there is an auditorium. In the auditorium, they offer about 70 hours of classes every single week. And there's some classes as early as 5 a.m. and they can go as late as 7 p.m. or maybe even longer. It just kind of depends because they are based on the time zones. Okay, and they focus on several things within that training, from the brand new agent all the way to Icon Agent Series and more, to commercial, introduction to luxury. And then you can get some subgroups in there for luxury classes and beyond, right? So that is in the eXp world. That's 70 hours every single week that's offered from one end of the spectrum to the other. Then we have different groups. Like I'm a part of a different group who, in our group, there's probably like 4,000 agents. And within that group of people, and how does that work? Let me explain. Is when you join, like I joined under a group, if that makes sense. Like I'm my own agent, but I joined under Proximity Partners. So under Proximity Partners, the person that started that, and that's the leader of that, they have given us so much training. We have weekly masterminds with them. We have agent attraction with them, how to agent attraction, investing. So you can join a ton of classes just under whoever you've signed up under, if they're a part of one of these bigger conglomerates. Now, that is not a required, and that's not a eXp mandatory type of setup. What it is these people saw the opportunity and they wanted to really tap into the rev share. And they said, if I'm going to tap into the revenue share program, what I need to do is be an attraction. Well, how can I be an attraction? Let me be able to add value. What value add can I bring to the people who are going to make my success possible? And so they've created what people want. And what the people that are teaching that and are a part of it are all the people within our group that have the talent and skills that know how to do those things. It's not somebody they plucked and said, now read a script, right? It's somebody's actually living it. And so they're great resources as well. So not only do you get the education, it's the resource that you can get. And you can go and take classes from anyone at eXp anytime. If it's offered, and we have through our workplace, we have things constantly that are offered. I got a commercial certification through a guy that teaches commercial certification, who's an eXp agent in the state of California, but he offered it to all of us for free. So it was
Mhm.
like, I'd like to learn a little bit more about commercial. So how do I do that? So, and it happened to come across the plate. So there's a lot of how the education is. You show up in your virtual world, your virtual avatar, you sit down and you listen to the class. Plus there's also many things that are recorded, that you can look and see and find, if there's something more specific, more of a niche to guide to. But the standard is that there's 70 hours every single week. You have these groups of people that offer ton and ton of education geared towards many different things. And then, like we were talking a little while ago, there's really niche groups, right? If you really want to only focus on, military, you really want to focus on different things, you can get in classes with all of these people that are focused on just those. And it's because we're web-based like Real, we're able to really mesh across the universe to people all over and make that happen.
Yeah, I love the cloud model for training because you and I were at a same brokerage in Annapolis, Maryland, and the thing like we were really only getting training from agents within our market center. There's literally a financial disincentive for people to give their best training to people in their exact market.
Yeah.
And a lot of the people at the market center, they were giving training because the broker would give them a discount on their fees, or the broker would just pressure them into you feel like a sense of I gave training as well, and they would pressure me. I feel a sense of obligation to give this
Yeah.
training, and I love that at both companies, everybody is an owner in the company, and a lot of people give training because they want to see the company grow. Right, that's a big
Yeah.
reason for it. So I got two questions. So the 70 hours a week that you mentioned in the EXP world, is that all by real estate agents, or do they hire people to do training?
They're real estate agents, and they're also leadership within EXP that have the talent for it. So it might be, if the class is all about, say, the commercial, because EXP commercial is separate from EXP
Mhm.
residential. So there's two separate companies. So they might be training in there, doing an introduction, right, of EXP, right, for
Yeah.
commercial. So it can be on different levels. Okay. And I didn't say that, excuse me, all of these are free. There's no cost. It's just part of being a part of the
Yeah.
company. So there's no cost to any of this. Now, are there people who put on classes that may cost a fee to get in? Absolutely. And that's every brokerage. But the ones with EXP International, or the ones like under the group that I'm with, Proximity Partners, there isn't. It's all just part of giving
Yeah,
growth.
I love that. And I got one more question. The training that you get from your upline, is that done in EXP World as well, or is that outside of EXP altogether?
Outside. It's
Okay.
outside.
So that's in the form of like YouTube videos and, on their
uh,
website or
Live
something.
stream. Yeah, like live online. We have through Facebook, we have a group that you can join. Also, we use Workplace a lot in EXP. So, and I'm sure a lot of other companies do. I mean, you can go in Workplace and find 100 things, but through Proximity Partners, a lot of it's online. We get text, emails. You can join in multiple different ways, but it's not in the world. It is outside of the world.
Okay. Yeah, so this is kind of one of the, I think, bigger distinguishers between Real and EXP is our training. And so Real wanted to get away from this model of what downline you're in and getting exclusive training from your downline. And so Real, you're not allowed to offer anybody anything. You can't promise people anything of value to put your name down as a sponsor, including free training, exclusive masterminds. And so at Real, if you want to give training, you have to give it to everybody in the company. And so even me, I host a monthly mastermind all about YouTube, and I have free training in the Real Academy, and it's open up to everybody in the company. And so that's kind of, I'd say, one big distinguish thing between the two of them. Secondly, and so Real has, we have over 200 classes right now, online classes, again, free access to everybody in the company. And we have between 25 and 30 live streams every single week. Of course, open to everybody. Anybody can hop on those live streams. And one thing I really love, it sounds like you guys have them as well. We host a lot of masterminds. So, like, I host a mastermind all about YouTube. Anybody can come in there. I can review your channel. We can interview people and just kind of open to everybody. There's a couple of weekly masterminds that I really love. And all of our training is done in the Real Academy, which is just access on your web browser. So you just boot up your web browser, you can access all these trainings. And what I love about that is that you can even access it on your phone as well. So when I'm
Oh,
driving, if there's a live stream going on, I'll pull it up on my phone. If I got an hour-long drive, I'll listen to a class. I'll listen to the live streams. And yeah, I think we have really great training as well. I'm really happy with the training.
well, I would say we also do have, you can get the eXp World on your phone on an app.
Oh,
You
I didn't know that.
cannot you cannot go into the eXp World and say go to your broker because they don't want you driving trying to get to your broker currently. I think they'll probably change it over time, but you get any access, any training that they have through your phone on the app
Oh,
as
that's
well.
great. Yeah, see,
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's good. I'm glad we had this conversation. Okay. Um, and let's talk about commercial. Just to be
Yeah.
fair, let's tell me about eXp Commercial.
So it's a separate company than eXp Residential. As an agent that does residential, and you're doing commercial, they really want you to join the eXp Commercial. If you're going to focus on commercial, they want you to be in commercial. They did two separate companies, as we saw with some other companies, like our prior brokerage. It kind of linked together, and sometimes like it didn't link very well. You know what I mean? It just didn't present itself to the world as a separate. A lot of the companies out there that do really well in commercial, that's what they do. They do commercial. So it's a separate entity, their own brokers, their own forms, their own stuff that can be monitored and training, their own training for that so that it gets trained well in commercial. So there is a fee to join them as well. And I don't know what the fee is, and I apologize because I'm not in the commercial arena. It's a separate company. But I can say, like, also as a realtor that does mostly residential, I have sold commercial. I am certified in commercial, but the commercial that I sell is just like a building on a piece of land. We're not selling like businesses or multi-units or, anything like that. That would not be comfortable. I was very just real property being transferred from one human to the next or one business to the next. Beyond that, it would be something that you would need to go to the commercial arena for. eXp Commercial rolled out a few years ago, and it is doing phenomenal, and if you're interested in commercial, it's a great outlet. It's a great place to go. Same thing. They offer training. I don't know exactly all of their fees, if they're equal or not, because I'm not in that part, but it is definitely an addition to what we have as
Okay.
residential.
Yeah, great. And so Real does not have a commercial division right now. Leadership has said that that is something on their radar. That's something they're probably going to roll out with the next couple of years. But currently, we don't have a commercial division. Kind of the standard is if you have experience selling commercial deals already, then your broker will allow you to sell commercial deals here at Real. But they don't want like a brand new agent who has no experience, never sold a commercial deal to then sell a commercial deal. So if you have experience, you can continue to sell commercial here. We don't have an official division. That is something on our roadmap, though. We should be coming along the next couple of years.
Yeah.
So another thing that's really important to agents, obviously, is going to be technology. We're both technology-based companies. Can you kind of give us a quick run through of all the technology that eXp uses?
Absolutely. So we use, with your membership, you get KV Core. We have Make It Rain, which you can put those together. That is a lead generation service. We obviously use Workplace. You have rights to, and it's not free, but BombBomb. Regis, we use SkySlope. We also have a digital signing within SkySlope. for our agents. And then we have our world. Our world is huge, and we are a part of Verbella. Like, so we own Verbella, we own Success and Success Magazine and all the Success part of, eXp. And then we also have we own Showcase IDX. So there's a lot of different avenues for us to use with eXp in technology. And then within the world, I have talked about that a couple of times. It is it's different, right? We're used to, like you said before, we're used to walking into like an office and like seeing somebody at a physical desk, right? And you go into the world. The world is limitless. You can go in there and you can play a soccer game if you wanted to, or you go talk to your broker. And I think that this is where the technology is huge. A lot of people, besides tools that we have to use within our world, the ability to get guidance is, I think, equally as important. I can reach out to my broker and get to my broker within like 3 minutes and get answers at any point in time. If there's a question, a problem, they're always there. There's people there all weekend, and you go right into your world and talk to them. We also get their phone numbers. And we can call them. They tell us who's on after hours and who's on the weekends. So when talking about the technology that kind of just goes in with the technology, because you kind of walk into the broker's office and talk to them. If you have questions about anything with eXp, you can go right into the world and go to that resource and not have to wait days after an email to get a response or trying to find a phone number. You can literally talk right through the computer like this to somebody and get the answers you need right away, which is, I think, phenomenal. And then as it comes into the technology side, the KV Core, it is KV Core for a single agent, not for a team. If you want the team, there is an upgrade for that, and that is not included. You'd have to pay for it. Honestly, they did that, I think, because of most of the time, most teams already have coming to XP or are working with a different CRM, and they're not going to switch most likely.
So Real uses some of the exact same technology. So we also use Workplace, which is created by Facebook, and it's how you can really tap into the community in the company. All of our training is streamed to Workplace as well, and then that training is actually housed in the Real Academy, which is where you can access all the training on your computer and on your phone. We have something that they call Rezen. This is proprietary software. They modeled a lot of it off of SkySlope. So we used to have SkySlope. Now they've created their own version of this. And in Rezen is where you can get all the information about your entire business, how close you are to capping. You see your downline revenue share. It's where you enter in all your transactions as well. And I can talk to your broker about a specific transaction. Pretty much that's kind of the hub of our business is Rezen. So eXp has KV Core. We have Chime, and Chime is usually $500 a month. Real, you don't get it for free, Real, but instead of $500 a month, you get it for $40 a month. And how I look at this is that eXp, you're still paying for KV Core. That's most likely where that monthly technology fee is going. But like I said, they realize not everybody wants to use that. They already have a website and CRM. So Real's made that optional. If you want to pay for Chime, you can instead of mandatory. And then we have the Real app as well. And I love the Real app. So eXp has eXp World, Real Broker has the Real app. That's kind of the two biggest differences between the technology, I'd say. And the Real app, again, you can see everything on your entire business. What I love is that every transaction is entered into the app here, and you can see all the details about any one specific transaction, including the co-op agent's contact information, the title agent's contact information. You can start a chat dialogue with your broker on every single transaction. And I'd say we also have really good support here as well. A lot of that's done through the agent app. So in there, you get all your contact information for your broker. You can contact them directly, phone call, email, text. Every transaction, it automatically opens up a chat dialogue with your broker if you have questions about a specific transaction. Then, of course, you can email support, and in the app, there's a 24/7 call center for support as well. So you can call somebody and get on the phone with them for support as well. And all that's really done through the agent app. All right, you're talking about different programs. Let's hear about the programs at eXp.
So they've been rolling out a lot of different things in this year. Whereas, like, if you're military, you can be you can, or past military, you can become part of the military relocation division. And then what they do is you get a certification with them, and then they actually will connect you with in a referral form to other military people that they come into there, and there is a referral fee for that. And it is not equal to the 40% that you see on most relocation. We have a relocation division now. They have partnered and hired onto the eXp team people who have worked in the relocation arena for these relocation companies, and we have formed a relocation division. You can get certified in that, and they will feed you leads for that. Of course, there is going to be another referral fee for that, because they're doing the business getting those leads to them to give to you. There's criteria you'll have to follow for all of these, and just remember, as long as you're meeting the criteria and you're involved in it, then it's a great resource for you to have additional business. There's also the REO division. So that would be, real estate owned foreclosure business. Same thing, you can get a certification, and then they will give you referrals. And then there is another thing called Bundle Select. Bundle Select is where we are going out to local businesses, and we are becoming their realtor of choice. And with that, they get a discount from the commission that's paid, education, and we are their primary agents for them. And they're helping us with all of that. It's a lot to it, but these are just like, I'm speckling to you like all the different types of avenues that they're creating for agents, for agent value. Because as we know, some people only want to do relocation. Some people don't want to do it. Some people want to do foreclosure. Some people don't want to do it. In the past, trying to trigger how you would get into these different arenas was always very difficult. And they're trying to make it so that at eXp, it's all under one helmet, and then you're able to choose. And you don't have to do any of it if you don't want to. If you want to sign up and just be you, then guess what? You sign up and you just be you. If you sign up and you want to check out one of these things, then it's open for you to check out.
Yeah, that seems really cool. I'd say I think Real, it has some divisions like what you're talking about. I think we're probably not as organized as that is, but I know I'm part of the Real military division for service members and veterans, and essentially just private masterminds and training and kind of a community that you can ask specific questions for. I believe we have a women's division as well. There's talk about them creating a luxury division. We don't have one just yet. So I don't know if we have other divisions or not. I'll be honest. That's something I've not really tapped into. I'll look into that, though. That is pretty interesting. But I know I am part of the Real military division. So let's talk about revenue share. So both companies reward their agents for helping grow the company in the form of revenue share. Can you kind of break down eXp's model for revenue share?
With eXp's rev share, there's 7 tiers. And so, you need to have a certain number of agents into each tier to get a different percentage of rev share back. So the rev share is basically the shared profits from you sponsoring a realtor to come into eXp. And out of the 20% that they pay eXp until they are capped, a percentage of that goes back to the agent who sponsored them. So with that, there's 7 tiers, and the shares go from in the first tier, you only need to have 1 agent. And once you get to 5 agents, you go to the second tier. You get 10 agents, you go to the third tier, and so on up to 40 plus agents in the 7th tier. And the share percentage is 3.5% for tier 1, 4% for tier 2, 2.5% for 3, 1.5% for 4, 1% for 5, 2.5% for 6, and 5% for 7. It definitely is something that people can tap into and have tapped into and have created a huge stream of revenue for themselves. And they've built businesses specifically and strictly around just attracting agents to the company. And that's where the person who I went under, right? That's what he's done, created a business around it, attracting agents. And because there's a huge payout for them if that's what you want to do. And I would say for, talking about the rev share and how it works, I do get rev share. I do have rev share. And I will say at my former company, and I was there for 16 years. The max that I ever made in that former company was about $8,000 a year. I know you've tapped really into yours. I have not tapped into mine as much. Last year I made 17,000 in rev share. So 17 extra $1,000 that I didn't have to go sell a house for or something is
Yeah.
phenomenal. It's something I do and would like to do more of. But at the same time, it is definitely, $17,000. That's a lot, right? That's a lot of money.
That's like three
So
commissions, 2, 3
yeah,
commissions.
exactly. So again, when we talked about the it's like kind of like a 401k to me when we look at stocks, right? I look at that money and I figure, okay, what can I do with that, or can I put it into another investment? But that's how the rev share works at EXP. And you do have to be an EXP agent, and you have to, to be able to be in the rev share program. And you don't have to do it if you don't want to either. Like I said, you can just come to EXP and just sell, or you can be a part of the rev share plan if you want to. It is not mandatory, and some do and some don't. Right? It's just whatever the flavor that you would like to put into your business.
So Real Broker also has a very similar revenue share program. There are some pretty big differences between the two programs. So Real, for starters, pays out on 5 tiers versus EXP, which pays out on 7 tiers. But what a lot of people aren't aware of is that less than 0.06% of agents at EXP ever actually unlock their 7th tier and receive revenue share on it. And so Real Broker saw this and they said, okay, well, let's eliminate those 2 tiers, and instead they pay out a good bit more on those first 5 tiers. And so they've kind of made a decision to prioritize kind of the average agent and give the average agent more money in revenue share versus giving kind of the mega super agents, which EXP kind of gives them a lot more benefits at EXP. And I'll be honest, like, I think if you wanted to be a full-time recruiter, you probably could make more money at EXP with their 7 tiers. If you're a producing agent, most likely you're going to make more money at Real Broker with their revenue share model. That's my personal opinion. And so Real, they have really simplified revenue share as well. And so any agent that you directly bring in, Real will give you 5% of every commission that they close until they cap. And we have a $12,000 cap. So that works out to $4,000 a year for every agent that you bring into the company. Anybody on your tier 2, Real will give you 4% of their commission until they cap. So that's $3,200 a year. Anybody in your tier 3, you get 3% of their commission. Anybody in your tier 4, you get 2% of their commission. Anybody in your tier 5, you get 1% of their commission. Now, like EXP, you do have to qualify and unlock these different tiers. And so right from the get-go, your first tier is automatically unlocked. You get $4,000 a year for every agent that you bring in. Currently, you need 10 agents in your tier 1, 10 producing agents to unlock your second tier. That is actually going to change November 1st to only needing 5 producing agents in your tier 1 to unlock your second tier. You need 15 producing agents to unlock your third tier, 20 producing agents to unlock your fourth tier, and 25 producing agents to unlock your fifth tier. Now, there are some other distinguishes between the two companies as well. So one, at Real, you can actually name 2 different agents as your sponsor, and any revenue share gets split between them. They call that co-sponsorship. I actually have probably about a dozen agents that I've co-sponsored with other agents. I really like this because oftentimes when somebody is joining a company, they are talking to multiple agents in the company. So this really kind of helps relieve any anxiety that people have about joining and who they're going to name as a sponsor. We also do have a requirement that you have to be a producing agent in order to actually receive revenue share. Real doesn't want full-time recruiters or multi-level marketing experts coming in. They want producing real estate agents. So at Real, you have to earn a $3,000 commission every 6 months in order for you to qualify for revenue share and receive that revenue share. They have announced a retirement plan, which they're going to announce, I believe, October during their annual Rise conference. But right now, you do have to be, that's not in place. You have to be a producing agent. Our revenue share is also willable. So you can name a child or somebody who's not a real estate agent, and they can receive your revenue share if you pass away. And another difference between the two companies is that at Real, you can't promise anything of value for somebody to put your name down as a sponsor. So I can't say I'll give you exclusive training, or I'll give you cash, or I'll give you any of these other things in order to put my name down as a sponsor into the company. So, Melanie, do you have any final thoughts about why somebody should consider eXp Realty?
Yes, thanks, Malcolm. I think first, I'd like to say the shoe fits at any company for you. You should wear it, right? I don't think anyone is bad for anybody. I think you have to look at all of the options you have available. Um, for me to join EXP at the time and why I chose EXP were the rev share opportunities. It was the 401k with the stock options, but it was the growth to be able to have the freedom as an agent to grow my business the way that I wanted to grow my business or how I wanted to grow it with all the resources they had available. Plus it is such an up and coming company and growing rapidly, that there was more resources and we're also worldwide. So that was another option is if I ever wanted to purchase something in a different country, as a vacation rental, back to the passive income, I was able to have the resources around the world. I think we are in 24 different countries at this point in time and growing. So I looked at the growth of the company and I looked at the option I had. Final thoughts, I think, would be I think that the decision that you make for you is based on what you're looking for in your life, whether it's this company or that company. I think EXP is a great choice for many people, as I think there are other brokerages that are great choices for them as well, depending on their likes and desires. So I hope that you would take the information that has been provided and be able to use that, ask questions, and figure out what makes the most sense for you and your business. And then with that information, be able to figure out where you want to go. And that makes sense. There's no
Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah, I love that. I think both are great companies. I think that cloud brokerages absolutely are the future of the industry. I think both offer additional streams of revenue, which is fantastic, and actually offer some sort of retirement plan and plan for retirement. Like this is something that most real estate agents don't really have that opportunity in their companies. For me, I saw Real Broker as sort of a second generation cloud brokerage. And they saw what worked at EXP. They've made some tweaks to their model, and for me, I think that I love the culture at Real Broker. I love the leadership here at the company, and I have a lot of really great friends that are at the company. And it's just exciting to get in, relatively early and kind of help build and mold this thing into, what I think is going to be, one of the top three brokerages in the country in the next 5 years or so. So, Melanie, if anybody wants to join EXP, they want to talk to you, get some more information about that, what's the best way for them to reach you?
So, really, the best way to reach me is my cell phone number. It's 301-442-0154. If you want to send me an email, it's mel@forsalebymel.com. And those would be the best ways to reach me. I mean, actually, the cell phone's the best. Call, text, leave me a message if you can't. You can actually find me on social media, Melanie Montague. I'm pretty easy to find. So, whatever works best for you, I've given you many sources to figure out and how to get to me.
Yeah, and I'll have all that information down in the description below. If you guys want to learn more about Real Broker, I have a link down to my calendar below. Click a date and time that works for you. We can schedule a one-on-one personal video call, talk to you all about the company and your company, see if it'd be a good fit for you or not. Melanie, thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate your time.
Thanks, Malcolm. It's been great. Great seeing you again as well.